Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science and Technology. In today's show, Rocket Monday, we're going to talk about USA versus China's moon race that is going on right now. It's update, so what the hell is going on? So we are at almost more than midpoint of 2025 and China has made going to the moon priority, and it was priority from day one. Basically, CCP was very clear about this, that they want to be world leader, a world conqueror. Yes, I'm not even applying butter on it. That's exactly what they wanted. This is from day one. There was no he, ha, who, he. No, exactly this is what we want to do. Rule over everything. So they had a very clear cut goal. And USA wants to maintain its lead. What does that mean? That simply means the moment somebody wants to like, oh, I'm gonna surpass you, NASA USA is like, nope. That's the whole point. That's the exact same thing happened with USSR. It's like USSR is like, we're gonna surpass you, and America is like, nope. You barely gonna go to like 30,000 kilometer maybe, and we're gonna go to 1.85 light second away or 1.2 light second away. So that was the whole point of America. It's like everybody can try to challenge. The moment it gets serious, America is like, Hadipa. So this is the whole point again, that, oh, you want to go to moon. Let me remind you that I'm the daddy here. So that was their aim. And make sure they are first. And this time again, just landing will not work anymore, because again, it's like, yeah, welcome to 1969. So what they have to do is basically they have to achieve more. So China needs to land. Let that be clear. For China, just landing, bringing their people back in one day, more than good enough. Done, go home. There are only two countries that would have done that. So they're good. They got this. They have a very precise goal. America requires a bit more to be useful. So in America's case, hopefully there is their long-term vision, permanent crew there. That's the whole point. Meaning they're gonna have a base, they're gonna have a crew rotation there. Then slowly they're gonna build a bigger base, and then they're gonna have what you call more crew rotation, and ideally 24 into 7 into 365 crew occupancy, exactly how ISS has. So that's what America has to do now to surpass China, because again, how things are going, China will land on the moon and they will achieve this, and likelihood that USA can do it before that is very, very slim. So China has clear-cut goal from start, from CCP. That's the good part. And they had a multi-decadal launch part, because again, let that be very clear. China, when it got its independence, or freedom from Japanese invasion and other stuff, they were like very rough start. Let that be very clear. It was a rough start. So they were like, we want to be a world leader, but right now we are not there yet. So let's fix everything. So they finally figured out, got the country on the right order. In 2004, they started the actual planning of it. Like, how the heck we gonna go to moon? How the heck we gonna develop structures, rockets, algorithms, people, college institute, everything. By 2004, they started to lay down the foundation. And they are actually keeping up the timeline. Like, they had an actual timeline, and they're keeping it up. Like, they're like, oh, we're gonna land in 2013, which they announced beforehand. They landed in 2013. Everything about them is actually working out how they have planned it. And they're very precise, very on time, and things are moving along as they should. Like, they're like, first we're gonna orbit the moon. They did it. Then we're gonna return from the moon. They did it. Then we're gonna land on the moon. They did it. Then we're gonna have rovers there. They did it. Then we're gonna collect sample and bring it back. They did it. Now they are doing docking. They did it. Everything is working as expected. Far more steps compared to what America was doing with basically Apollo era. Apollo eras were much bigger hops, so to say. But they are very methodic, like, this is what we're going to do, and they are doing it. And they are successfully able to do it in surprisingly low cost. Again, from Apollo's point of view. So cost is very low. They are very precise. They know what they are doing, and they are brick by brick building it up. And America kind of started to realize, specifically after Chang'e 3 2013 landing, is like, whoa, China is getting serious. And they did a lot of analysis and all that, and political climates changed. And by 2017, America realized, yeah, we need to have a backup plan. So Artemis lunar program was started. Now, before that, people were not interested in moon. And there was a time of Obama where it's like, what if we go to asteroid? I'm like, what the hell? I'm not joking. That was the actual program, constellation program. So that program was cancelled midway. So that happened. So Artemis was built 2017. Now history, what happened to Artemis? Short answer, lol. Every aspect of the mission, every supplier, every contractor, everything just went lol. So they went complete lol on the timeline, and they are not late by 1 year or few years. No. They are late by 10 plus year in minimum all scenarios. Heck, I'm not joking. This is actually happening. There's supposed to be a company that's supposed to build a launch tower for SLS Mark II variant. Block B, I think. Yeah, lol. That's lol. Like NASA could not find a contractor that can build a tower. Lolled it. So realistically, every aspect is messed up like that. Every single aspect. SLS is delayed, tower is delayed. Everything that has to go into that system is lol, from spacesuit to the whole shenanigans, so to say. So things are not looking good. So why we are talking about it now? Well, Senate hearing happened. That's generally when people start to notice that this is bad, this is big. Senate hearing will happen, then they will figure out the agenda, and hopefully, knock on wood, if things go well, they're gonna have set bureaucrats with certain things, and then president is gonna give the green light, and things gonna work, and get things moving along. And again, last Senate system did work. A lot of private space company did came forward. It's like, you have to slimline the regulation, otherwise China is gonna bitch slap you, and they did. Donald Trump signed an executive order to solve that issue into 13 August, so to say. So similar thing is happening, and somebody was very clever there. They have a very interesting title. There's a bad moon on the rise. So this is the idea. This was the whole agenda, so to say. What will 2030 look like? America landing on the moon or China landing on the moon? Now, realistically, at this point in time, it's 99.5% sure that is going to be China. So former NASA administration Jim Bernstein, he specifically talked about it. The likelihood that China will land on the moon 2030 is much higher versus America's ability to land, like flat out. Why is that? Well, everything is messed up, like every single thing, and nobody has any idea who smoked, what they smoked, that LOPG was created. And if you do not know what the heck is LOPG, yeah, it was renamed to Lunar Gateway. Yeah, nobody has any idea why it happened. And in this meeting, they were talking about, like, why do we have to have constant space, station? Because a lot of China's company is developing technology that can only be developed in space. For example, materials for hypersonic re-entry vehicle, something like that. And apparently China has created the, we are doing it, this sort of crystal growth or something in space. Are there crystals to be grown in space? Of course, there are a lot of crystals that can be grown. Medical crystals, optical fiber crystals, they're like short up, take money. Like, people are ready to dump money the moment you can do it in cost-effective way. So there is a lot of things to be done, and America does not want to lose, like same way they lost their manufacturing edge, they do not want to lose the space edge. So I think bad planning with NASA's bad cocaine, they created LOPG as like, okay, ISS had to be retired, so let's not create a second better station, let's go to moon. Why? Because we want to test out how human can be fried with without radiation shielding. Basically, we do not have Van Allen radiation shielding, so Van Allen is shielding for us. From outside, it looks like a shield. So without that, what will happen is, like, why? It would have been much better for them to develop a Mach 2 ISS, much better, much bigger, much more long lasting, all those things. Nah, let's directly go to. And midway realize it's like, not other countries are really not that interested. They're not really signing up the money. So bad things happen. And SLS, which is supposed to be the linchpin of the whole program, which is 10 years behind schedule, yeah, they cannot use it. Why they cannot use it? It's hyper expensive. How expensive? It's supposed to be less than $500 million per launch. At this point in time, optimistically, Office of Inspector General Office in NASA is saying you will be lucky to get this puppy on $2 billion per launch. That is not sustainable. Meaning, if they're going to launch it, they have to cancel that. It's like, launch it, cancel. They have to. So that creates a scenario. But they have built it. They have things ready. This is the only thing that actually went, basically a human capsule around moon. That happened. This is a Orion capsule. This is moon. This is Earth. That happened. So they have to use it. It's like they built it. They have to use it. And what about alternatives? None of the alternative is ready, and there is no plan. Every plan relies on this. So fundamentally, the likelihood, they're very realistic about this. Unless something changes dramatically, drastically, exponentially, the likelihood of America able to save Garda basically landing by 2030 is almost zero. Again, there could be a scenario where China faces certain issues, where it's like, things are not working out. But again, because they are so methodic, likelihood is low. But again, could happen. Space is messy. So things like that happen. Basically, this messed up royally. A lot of bad planning happened, and everything is lol at this point in time. This was discussed in the mission. It's like a 2-hour live stream. So let's understand the two players who got the contract. Blue Origin. Again, contract was not given now. It's like, why the heck we are not able to meet? So this is a simpler system. Very simple, logical. So idea is, you're going to have 2 New Glenn rocket. One's going to launch it. They're going to have a refueler, and another is going to be cis lunar transporter. So totally, they're going to launch 3 rockets. Only 3 rockets. So first rocket has the kick stage, so to say. Another is a tanker for the kick stage. Basically, they are refuel it, but here's the their refueling is only once. They send, refuel, done. The end. There is nothing more than that. So far more simpler. And then they're gonna launch a crew lander. Now, crew lander will not have people inside. It will be just the lander. The landers go. Now, these two people will make love into NRHO, near rectilinear halo orbit. Now it's like, why is that orbit? Well, that orbit is there such a way that you are orbiting moon and always you have direct line of communication with earth. There is no shadow point. You are not going behind the moon. That's the benefit. And solar panels are also working 24 into 7 into 365. Although the maintenance of that orbit requires a lot of iron engines, but it can be done. For short duration, it's not that big of a deal. So crew lander goes directly to there. The basically cislunar transport, it will not have enough fuel, so it had to be refueled with GS2, and then it goes to that, and then these two people make love, and then it docks with the gateway. And there lies the first problem. What the hell is happening to the gateway? Even if, let's just say, this is working, this is ready on time, and even if they can do all this, there is no gateway anymore. And the idea was they're gonna dock to gateway, and then SLS will launch with Orion. Why? Because it is human rated and it has Orion capsule. So Orion capsule is gonna have human and it's gonna launch from Earth's surface to NRHO again, and they're gonna dock there. People is gonna transfer. Then this puppy, basically this one, bigger version of this is Mark 1, that will descend, land, they will have the lunar mission, and then gonna come off and again transfer the people there, and Orion capsule will come back. Why the heck there is SLS here? And again, let that be very clear. There were more than enough astronauts that were saying, stop smoking cocaine. This is not a good idea. NRHO is not a good idea. If your target is to land on the moon, land on the goddamn moon. And again, China is also doing that. And if you really need like something in orbit to do communication and all that, have CubeSat. And again, nowadays we have enough satellites there on moon that we can maintain 24/7 communication. That's not an issue. Have CubeSat if you're really that desperate. You do not need a space station there. So fundamentally, this is the main mess up problem. And again, delaying there, going there, reaching the orbit, you are wasting delta V, lot of it. So realistically, that's why they require so much refueling. It's wasteful. China is like, launch, go into Earth orbit, figure things out, and yeet. Done, yeet, go home. It's exactly like how Saturn V did it. Far simpler, far more logical, rather than this cumbersome like here to here, here to here, then here to here, then here to here. No, direct. So fundamentally, SLS will be sending people to something that does not exist somehow. And again, I do not think that this capsule will be able to directly dock with Orion. So, lol. And cislunar transporter. Although the good news is that they are developing tech behind the doors, and again, some news came out that they have made some good progress in cryogenic propellant safeguarding. That's the biggest thing that this company is banking on, is that the idea is they should be able to put liquid hydrogen on long-term storage in space. And again, if you know anything about liquid hydrogen, that puppy is cold. It is so cold, it makes liquid nitrogen look hot or liquid oxygen look hot. So they are figuring out a way to have those propellant storage for long duration. Now, is that an important thing? For them, yes, because what they want to do is do not have hypergolics, just have hydrogen and all that, because again, you can create that. If there is enough water on moon, you can recharge it, or even transporting hydrogen is not that difficult if you can keep it not from boiling off. So they have to invest on that. Like, whole architecture is relying on the fact that they can figure out long-term hydrogen storage. If they crack it, it will have a beneficial advantage. They are working behind the scenes, slowly, methodically they are working. And this time the current update is that they are building 2 of this. This is Mark 1 landers, unmanned. So idea is they have one after the another. The moment they're going to launch one, they're going to wait. If it lands perfectly, cool, awesome, GG's, launch second. If it crashes on the first landing, they're going to figure out what went wrong and build the refinements in the second one. They do not want to be hardware poor anymore. So this is going on with Blue Origin. Will this work? Yes. Will it work before 2030? No. So that's the whole point. So let that be very clear. 2030, lol. But technology could work out. And if they finally crack out how to handle cryogenic propellant for long duration, that would be an awesome technology. Like, that alone is like short up tech money, especially for long duration. Now we come to SpaceX. Now SpaceX is too ambitious. Like what they claimed, and again, he did say a very interesting line where it's like, we wanted to land on the moon, why we are buying bigger rocket? Which again, Elon Musk promised way too much with SpaceX. Starship, way too much. It's cool thing. It's like you go from 2G mobile phone to 3G mobile phone, 3G to 4G mobile phone, 4G to 5G mobile phone. You do not go from, oh, I have first satellite phone, here's the deal. Now I'm gonna have quantum communicators. It's like that's not how it works. So to give you a context, how badly they have regressed because of that decision of putting everything in Starship, Falcon 9 Block 5 generally gives you 3.6% efficiency. How do you calculate efficiency? You take the payload divided by propellant mass. Now that is 3.6, which again does have second stage use and throw away, but again does have payload cover recovered. So 3.6 is good. Now Starship V1 was so useless, and again this is data from Elon Musk, his own upload, on his own Twitter. It's not tampered, not edited, and even these numbers are optimistic AF. Let that be very clear. And again, if you watch the early launches, and it's like, yeah, it is much weaker than Falcon 9. Falcon 9 can carry more tonnage. Why? It's heavy. So what is the efficiency here? V1 efficiency, based on the data they have provided, that gives you 0.34%. That's not useful as a rocket. V2, that gives you 0.74%. Again, not that useful. V3, they are targeting that they're going to jump from basically 0.74 to 1.91, and that they are thinking it will go up to 100 tons into low Earth orbit, plus 100 tons. And they're hoping for V4, where they're going to stretch it and they're going to put more engines in the second stage. Stretching is the main part that gives you more propellant, and to increase the boost factor of it, stage 2 will, instead of having 3 vacuum optimized engine, will have 6 vacuum optimized engine. That puppy should have 3% efficiency. And like, wait a minute, isn't that still lower than Falcon 9? Yes. Why? Heavy. This puppy is heavy. Why it's heavy? Simply because it's made out of stainless steel, not a good material. We have known this from V2 rocket era, that stainless steel, it does work. And again, if you look at very early Vanguard series of rockets, they were like that. They were balloon rockets for that exact reason. But people learned it very quickly. It's like, use lithium aluminum alloy. You're good. You got this. Go home. You do not need to make everything super cheap. Use lithium aluminum alloy. So what's the current update? And again, 10 IFT, you have test. At best case scenario, all you have is boom boom events because you have not deployed payload. Now, how does it compare to other 2 contractors? So New Glenn, first launch, dumped payload into orbit. SLS, first payload, dumped Orion into lunar orbit. No matter how you slice it, 10 try and you still do not have an actual payload in space orbit, versus these 2, yeah, it does not matter. And it's like, oh, SLS is delayed. Does not matter. At least it's doing something. It's like, oh, delay. You can't say that I'm gonna delay too, because again, your contract will be cancelled. So that's not there. Fundamentally, this, and again, we know for a fact that 2 more missions have to be done, which they're gonna crash, because again, they know for a fact that V2 design is not that good. They know they're not gonna attempt basically Starship capture until V3. And without Starship capture, you cannot do refueling, because again, refueling requires so many rockets, which another issue is 20 refueling is not something logical. Can it be done? Of course you can do it. You can use flamethrower to light a cigarette. It's not logical. So that's just illogical. So there are 2 fundamental issues from a lunar point of view. First, stainless steel makes the power to weight ratio too stupid. Second, no payload door. What does that mean? That simply means because they do not have a good payload door design. And again, space shuttle was built that way just so they can have a payload door. Payload door, not having that means they cannot redesign their structure. The whole thing has to go to moon because they cannot open anything and deploy enough payload. Right now, there is no topology because again, they have fuel tank on top and they have nose cones. Even if you remove the nose cone, even if you remove the fuel tank there, which you need for landing burn, alone makes the nose cone very difficult. Like, there is no way where you can open it enough where you can have full cylinder coming out of it. That's a very fundamental limiting factor. You can have mass. I think if you have something very dense, you may be able to yeet it from Starship. But if you have something huge, like which would be like a habitat, habitats are not heavy, they are big in diameter. This will not be able to deploy it in space because the door design is not done. And by 2024, they should have, which again, based on which they have collected money from Artemis, they should have done propellant transfer by now, which again, 10th try, you're still going boom. And again, 11th, you're going to go boom. 12th, you're going to go boom. 13, you're going to try to capture. And again, without reuse, you can't do 20 refuelings. So there lies the problem. It's dog chasing its own tail. It's messy. It's messy as hell. And people are not happy, which again, if you go to anyone, it's like, yeah, they made it, they launched it. And second mission of Blue Origin is going to happen at the end of this year, hopefully. And if not, 1 or 2 months from that point. And if they land successfully, Or if they deploy payload successfully, nobody would care. Nobody would care it does not land. Nobody would care. Because rocket's first job is dump a stuff into orbit. Second job, land safely. So fundamentally, this is a messy scenario, and there was a logical reality of it. It's like, dude, why we are buying a rocket that requires 20? And again, I hope there was a mispronunciation, there's a miscommunication that you're supposed to refuel something and then refuel again into something else which is human rated. What? I genuinely hope that's a miscommunication, or like he misspoke or something like that. Genuinely hope that, because otherwise, yeah, it's full cocaine. So SpaceX is a, yeah, at best case scenario, like if things go well and these numbers are hit, it's a Starlink deployment system. It's gonna make SpaceX rich, but Artemis will be cooked if they do this. Again, they have like boost leap of thrust of 10,000 tons. God help that launch pad. So what can we expect in the future? Well, realistically, let that be very clear. It's unlikely they're going to sort everything out in 5 years. Could it happen? Maybe SpaceX finally figures out how to actually do multiple launches per week, or maybe even like, 2 or 3 per month. Maybe they will be able to like, exponentially increase the cadence. Likelihood is low, not zero, but low. Maybe Jeff Bezos finally starts to like, really flex his muscle and brain power. And he's like, okay, 1 launch, 2 launch after that, 4 launch after that, like the exponential growth, then that could happen. But right now, as of now, or everything that we have seen, heard, and have data on, does not look like America is gonna beat China. As of now, things can change, but as of now, 2030 is not happening. They're not gonna fix their whole strategy in 5 years. So yeah, that's that. So Starship will take much longer time to put human on a Starship and then land this puppy on moon. That's taking way too long time. And what can be done, right? Let's just say you get a clean slate. Let's say US government sits down. What can they do? Well, what China is doing, what Saturn V did. Docking. There is no reason for refueling. Or again, 1 refueling is digestible. 20 is not digestible. So docking gives you rapid accessibility. And refueling for 20 times is just not wise. Because again, somehow everybody is like, oh, there is nothing known as weather. Even though the 10th was delayed for weather. Like 20 launches, you want 20 clear window? Yeah, no. So fundamentally, and again, not only delayed, it could also cause cancellation. So fundamentally, this is a very big, and again, this door is just a CAD design. I have not seen any like actual work, like some engineers are working down, okay, how the heck we gonna make door? And again, compare this to space shuttle. Space shuttle opens up exactly like this, so it can deploy the whole diameter. The whole diameter can be yeet out of there. It was designed deliberately for that. Like the wings, rather than being in the center part, shifted on the edge of the cylinder. It was done so payload door can be there. Without payload door, you can't deploy the 100-ton to orbit, 200-ton to orbit. You can do with dense stuff. Dense stuff can be made small enough. That I can see. But propellant tanks wants to be huge. Habitats have to be huge. So that creates this, that's why like this whole design topology is just Starlink delivery vehicle. It's sorted as that. Everything else is like, we are trying to make it work. So fundamentally, that's a very big issue. And this whole statement that I keep hearing everybody saying, like, we want to use heat shy stainless steel, because if one of the heat tile fails, we're going to have good enough redundancy. Here's steel. Look into every single human rated spacecraft that has ever flown. Not even one of them had an issue where heat tile failed. Now you were like, hey, didn't Space Shuttle had this issue where a heat tile failed? No. Space Shuttle had a missile fired at them. Basically, a rocket was going, which designers did point out that because you are on the side of the rocket, things can fall from the rocket and damage the shuttle, which they assumed, they calculated. But the idea was that most likely it's going to be ice and it's going to happen very early stage of the flight. So that time, because the velocity would be low, it will be able to endure it. This puppy should be able to tank it. It did tank it. More than enough ice fall on it. It's like, I got this. I got this. The first boom happened because of O-ring failure. Second happened because at high speed, where it was reaching Mach speeds, it was going at Mach speed, a foam block fell at Mach speed backwards, boom. So 1.5 kilogram, I think that was the like a big briefcase of foam, orange foam, punched a hole. It's a glass body and you are firing a RPG into it. It's like, bro, it's not designed to handle it. Again, Dragon capsule, aluminum body, heat shield. Soyuz capsule, heat shield. The miniature space shuttle, heat shield. You never have a scenario where heat shield causes an issue. And then people will say, oh, but we want rapid usability. Build a automated scanning system. Much easier, much more logical, much more doable nowadays with modern technology. You can scan the whole rocket, whichever tile is kaput, you kaput that tile, replace it, go home. It's like fundamentally, like this whole idea that tiles will fall. Again, we have this puppy flew more than 200, under 200 times and never had an issue where tile failed during re-entry. Yes, tiles were damaged, but never compromised the mission. Again, the miniature space shuttle, that has also done God knows how many missions. And again, it goes through way too many heating and cooling cycles because it is in space for 600 to 900 days. And it is in low Earth orbit. So it's going day, hot, cool, hot, cool, hot, cool, hot, cool. And it's like, I got this. I'm good. I got this. So the heat tile falling or failing is not an issue unless you mess it up. That technology is sorted. It's like, oh, automation and all that. Dude, you have hexagons. Build a scanner array, scan the hell out of it. And if humans were used for scanning it, I can guarantee you can build a hyperspectral camera, aka meaning a light stream that is streamed onto multiple wavelength, and you can easily scan it. As like, hey, this tile is kaput, this tile is kaput. That will take 5 minutes. A scanner rod going like whoosh, fry these tiles. So this whole idea is like heat tile will fail. It never fails. And if you're planning to replace it, just it's like I have no idea how the heck people are convinced the heat tile will fail. It should not fail. We good. We got this. We have heat tiles going into Mars, never failing. So let's see. So right now America is in a messy spot. So this was a presentation on basically what the hell is going on with America-China's moon race. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please click the like button, share it amongst your friends. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike, press it twice to show me your disappointment. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free, and as always, thanks for watching.